Hey, I'm Chris, and I'm a deadhead.
I'm Scott, and I'm a deadhead too.
All right, and this week we are going to be talking about Althea. And I just said before, leading up to this recording, I just said this is a big, it's a big bite to chew. So we've got a lot to look at here, a lot to talk about. So let's get rolling. We're actually going to start with the second one. You've already got it queued up. The second most votes on Heady Versions, which is the 51680. Al Franken from Long Strange Trip. He says, this is it. And he talks about some of the other ones. I think he talks about 5181, and he says it's good. It's got some of the flavor of the 51680, but it's not it. All right, so this is the number 2 on Heady Versions, and it's a good one. But let's go ahead. We'll just jump right to 655 or so in this one. That is really good. His little solo there is really good, right?
Yeah.
I think there is one out there that's better, and that's kind of where we're leading here. Okay.
Okay.
So
I think I know
basically,
which one that is, but I'm not
yeah,
going to say it.
the Altheas, they kind of break down into the earlier Altheas. We've got 3 from 81. We've got one from 1980 in the top 10 in one Heady Versions. We got one from 83. Then we've got one from 87. And then we've got one from 89, 2 from 90, and one from 1994 in the top 10. So I feel like they kind of break down into the earlier, which is the slower of the Altheas, and then the later the 89, 90, 94 ones are slower. So I'm going to kind of attack it that way. That was the number 2.
Okay.
Let's go to 31481. That's the number 1 version on Heady Versions. And we're going to go to about 735 or 740, somewhere right in there. And it's exactly midway between those two. Are you on? 81, yeah, between the two blue bars of the 1981 and then the total date, 31481, the show. So, yeah, just to the right of that, like in between those two blue bars.
Around there.
In between those two blue bars is what I was saying.
Oh, right here.
Yeah, right out in there. Should be about 735 or so. Perfect. Hit
Okay.
it. And then it goes back into the Althea, regular old Althea. And so go ahead and stop it there. I feel like Jerry had just a little hesitation or something. It's like I think he could have taken it to the next level, and then he just kind of doesn't go there. I don't know. I mean, it's excellent, and I don't want anybody to think that I'm disparaging any of these Altheas because they're all awesome, and I had so much fun the last 2 nights listening to and comparing these 10 Altheas that are in the top 10 on Heady, and they're all awesome in their own way. It's just, to me, some resonate, some, I feel like maybe he could have gone for it a little more. But anyway, so then we've
So
got, yeah,
I'm gonna
go ahead.
interrupt real quick. I said this right before we started recording. If anyone's watching this, I did ask Chris to do the Althea show. I um have very strong opinions on the keyboard players for the Grateful Dead, and Keith is by far my favorite, followed by Pigpen. So I have a tendency to listen to stuff from the Keith era and before. So I know Althea is a great song, but I don't listen to the Brent years as much, and they didn't debut this until '79. So it is not a song I have spent a whole lot of time picking apart like some of the other stuff. So I just want to toss that out there. That's why I'm letting Chris do the talking, because this is his song.
Okay. I don't know if it's my song, but I will say this in the beginning, because, and we've talked about this, the library, is so big.
Yes.
There's just, the volume of work is so large that it's difficult for a person who's just getting into it now to get into it and not feel completely, overwhelmed. Okay,
Yes.
so I watched, early on when I first started listening to the Dead. I watched Long Strange Trip, and Al Franken was talking about this version. I looked it up on YouTube or whatever, and so I had it on my phone, and I would listen to it in the morning as I was, getting ready to go to work. Back when I went to work on the regular. But anyway, yeah. So yes, I did listen to, and I listened to that number two version, the 51680, over and over and over again. So we've talked about it before. Sometimes you kind of get into a mindset where the one that you are most used to is the right way, right?
Yep.
And yet I still, after listening to it over and over and over again, I found one much later on that I think is even better. So that's how great this Althea is. When we get to the end of this show, you guys are going to be like, "Oh, this Althea is the best." Maybe. All right. So, or you might think,
I
no,
still,
the
when
one
we
that
get
I
to the
always
end,
listen to is my go-to is my favorite. But
let me guess, but I'll do it when we get there. I
all right.
think I know which one it is.
Well, by process of elimination, we got 10 shows here. But anyway,
Do you want me to guess
uh,
now?
yeah, sure.
Can I guess the? Is it from 1987 by any
It
chance?
is. It's the
Okay,
32387
that's what I
that I
thought.
love.
Okay, that's what I
Yeah.
thought. Okay,
So I don't know. I don't want this to. Usually we go real long anyway. But
yeah.
but that gives you the
And for those of
flavor.
you watching, I haven't eaten dinner yet, so that's why I'm pushing it
Yeah,
real fast.
but that gives you the flavor of those earlier shows. So the 32881 is number five, and and my note from, like I said, the last two nights, basically all I did was listen to Althea's, and my note is really enjoying this, but it's not it in that kind of Al Franken way. Like, hey, the 32881 is, it's exceptional within a large pool, but it's not it. The 5181, I went there for the Althea and I stayed for the deal
I do that too.
because that
Yeah.
5181 deal is exceptional. The Althea is also exceptional. I really, and I was listening to it, and it is a really clean recording. Um, Jerry might drop the lyrics a couple of times. Well, either that or the recording's not perfect in that regard. But in any case, beautiful playing, um, and this
It's just something about
the
Hampton.
5181 version. I'm sorry, but the 5181 version can do it for me in certain moods. It's not the 32387 version as far as I'm concerned, but the 5181 is awesome. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say that I don't know why, but there was just something about the Hampton Coliseum because they played so many great shows there. So
Yep.
it's
So
of course my favorite
go actually, let's
bar.
listen to a little bit of 101483, which is the number 8 version on Heady Versions. 101483.
10/14/83.
And we'll go to, again, about 640. I have 643 written down. I guess I was getting pretty particular.
I think this was an early Dick's Pick show. I haven't listened to it in a long
They had a
time.
lot of
So,
good shows in Connecticut. I feel like Connecticut, Boston, comes up a
oh yeah,
lot.
the
Um,
Northeast. Um, Althea, man.
yeah,
I wouldn't say I'm
Althea.
tired, but I can't even remember what song we were talking about.
So go pretty deep in. 6:43 is what I wrote down
Oh,
on it,
okay,
though.
that's a little bit too far. There we go.
Very good. So there you can hear Brent come back in. I feel like this version, Jerry was just about to like go into outer space, and then I feel like the whole band kind of comes back in, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just it's not
Hmm.
a Jerry solo like I'm looking for, you know.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, I do know.
so, but it's really close to being it again. It's up there. It's a good one. Um, so let's go to some of the later versions. Let's see. Well, let's try. Let's go in chronological, I guess, and take a look at 7/19/89. For this one, go to source number 4. I wrote down source 4 for. All right, so 89, 7/19, source 4.
Okay. Whereabouts?
Go pretty deep in again. I guess like the end of the 89 bar. So nope. Got to back up from there. Sorry. There. That'll be good. All right. So these versions, the 89 and the 1990 versions, and then the 1994 version, I just feel like, I mean, they're good, and I love to listen to it. I wish I had gone to these shows because I very well
Yeah.
I could have, but I didn't. Well, this one was in Wisconsin, so maybe not. Um, but in any case, I these are shows that I was old enough that I could have gone to and I didn't, and that's kind of disappointing. And when I think about, well, are they good enough to have gone? Yeah, I would have loved to have heard this, in concert then,
Yeah.
but I wasn't doing that, and so I can enjoy them now, luckily through
Yes.
uh, archive and re-listen. But uh,
Thanks to
but
all the
anyway,
tapers out there, both
yeah,
official and unofficial.
definitely. So the '90s versions are generally faster, and I almost feel like they're rushed. I feel like some of these shows in the 1990s, and maybe that's why you and I don't listen to them as much, don't get into them as much. I feel almost as if they are trying to get through a certain number of songs or get through stuff. And like, okay, so here it is. We played it. Now you can be happy that you heard it. Um, and that's it's not a knock necessarily. I'm not trying to, disparage. I'm just saying,
So I get what you're saying.
okay,
I will tell you, I am partial to I think a couple of the 1990 versions on Althea, but there are some other shows from this era where it's like they're playing the song. The best Dead shows are where they latch onto a song and just explore it and see where they can go with it. And I
hmm
think by this era, a lot of the time they weren't getting as far out there. And I could be wrong. I think a lot of Deadheads would probably agree with that feeling.
yeah,
Um,
they were oftentimes I feel like they were, and you can see they start off with Hell in a Bucket. They're trying to get their. their hits in, because they had a
Yeah,
lot of new fans. They did, and
they did.
I wish I had been one of them. Actually, I bought the album, but I never got into going to shows. So
Yeah.
just unfortunate for me. I'm the
Yeah.
loser in that one. All right, we go to let's see, where are we? We were just
Which
at 719. Oh, that's the confusing thing. We need 1990 and go to 719 again. I get confused every time because it's the same month and day a year later. 719. And this is number, and this time they're in Indiana. This is number 9 on Heady Versions. Go to about 605. I have no idea where how to get you there, but yeah, yes,
okay.
Althea, and then about.
I am tired.
All right.
Okay,
So,
I happen to think that that was great.
oh yeah,
I happen to think I
I'm
prefer
just like,
that to the slower.
yeah, it's
I prefer
great.
that to the slower stuff. So
Okay,
I don't know. That is
so
just not
I don't
for me.
prefer it, but yeah. So my notes say 605 plus, and then it says, and then the next thing I wrote down was 620 plus, especially. So yeah, right in there, and we're at like 7 minutes now. So right in there, it is. And the next thing I wrote is wow. Yeah,
Yeah,
it is. It's really good.
it is. It's killer.
It's great. It's great stuff, and it's still not it. Okay. So all right. So 1994 is the 10-194 is this number 7 version, and it's nice. It's pretty, and it's nice, and it's pretty nice, but it's not my cup of tea. You don't even need to go to it.
Oh, okay.
It's
But now
too
you've got me curious.
it's it's too rushed as far as I'm concerned.
I'm gonna
Um,
play just a snippet at the end because now I want to hear because I like the
Go
fast
ahead.
versions.
Yeah.
I like the fast versions. Oh, I went too far. Okay, keep going. I don't think that's too bad, but okay.
It's not bad. It's more of
I know
a
what you're saying.
it's not a Jerry solo as much as it is the band together. I feel like, and I'm looking for that Jerry solo. So let's see. What does that leave us? That leaves us 323.87. So go to 1987, March 23rd, when the greatest Althea of all time was played. Yeah, the
Do
Althea.
you have a preference on
Oh yeah,
the?
number 6, I think.
Okay,
Is that a Charlie Miller? Yeah.
yeah, but it's only got 4.8 stars, even though it says it's a soundboard. I wonder if I did I count right.
Yeah, no, no,
One,
no.
two, three, four,
They're numbered. It
five,
says right there. Yeah.
six. Oh
Okay.
yeah,
So here's
I
something.
told you I was
Here's the
tired.
thing. Here's the thing. And this is exactly why this version, at least in my opinion, this version is number 10 as opposed to number 1. There are, even though there are identified soundboard recordings, there is no clean version. None of them.
Okay, yeah,
All of them sound like I don't know, they put Jerry in a box behind the stage, and you have to listen through a whole bunch of other crap in order to isolate Jerry's guitar.
Yep.
Once you zero in on Jerry's guitar though, and you follow Jerry's guitar, it is outstanding. It is just it's unbelievable. Listen to this. Let's go to 545. It's right under the 8 in 87. Under, yep, a little to the left, just a little bit. So just pause it for a second.
No.
No, come on.
Okay, sorry.
Take it back for a second and let me just say one more thing. So you kind of you get that, right? I mean, as soon as it starts playing, it's almost as if it's like muffled. The whole recording is almost like it's muffled,
Yeah,
and
I can hear that.
you have to really zero in on Jerry. And
But you can
obviously
tell.
you already had because you're like, no, I don't want to stop it. All right,
Well, and I mean, you can tell where I hit play. You can tell that they have already hit epic on the scale of 1 to 10. So,
all right, go ahead.
all right, I backed it up a little bit further this time because I want to hear them get to that.
Somehow Jerry can take one note and turn it into magic.
He definitely had a gift. So,
Oh, I don't know. Did you hear what I hear?
I definitely. So, because in the last few weeks, I have listened to this song a few times, and I tend to gravitate to a couple of the versions from 1990. But I would say that if they had been playing this song, if they had written it sooner, this version to me is what it would have sounded like in 77. So, and what I mean by that is it's not so 76, I have a hard time with 76. They were coming out of their hiatus, and a lot of the songs to me sound sluggish. Like it just isn't there.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the early Altheas remind me a little bit of that. And then, they got into the late 70s, early 80s, and they started speeding everything up. And like you're saying, almost sometimes it sounds a little bit rushed. In 77, St. Stephen is probably the best example. It wasn't as fast as the early versions from the 60s and 70s, but it's just got a little bit more oomph in it. And that's kind
Mm-hmm.
of what this sounds like. It's not sped up as much as the 90s versions, but it's a little bit more tempo than you get from those 80 and 81 versions. And
It's that sweet spot, man. I
yeah,
love it.
it's good. I agree.
I
It's good.
I've listened to it a lot, a lot, and
You
like I
have.
said, I listened to the 51680, because I mean Al Franken is a genius and everything, but our
One of the original
former
writers
senator from Minnesota.
for, and I think he was one of the original writers on Saturday Night Live too.
Yeah,
So
yeah. But
pretty sure.
anyway, but on Al Franken's recommendation, I listened to that one a lot. And still when I hit this 87 version, I was just like, whoa, this
Yeah.
is this is the next step. And unfortunately, every recording, I mean, you can go through all of these recordings and every one of them sounds like they put Jerry in a box behind the stage, but
Hmm.
he bursts through anyway.
Yeah. It sounds good. I don't think it sounds terrible. So even though the version that we just played, the votes have it scored as a 4.8 out of 10 for the
Yeah,
quality.
yeah,
So,
I know.
so there are a lot
But
of
the other
people who
ones,
would
the
agree
other,
with
but
you.
if you scroll, if you can find a better rated version, I don't
No,
think there's one there.
I think I've listened to all of them also because I have heard you talk about this particular Althea.
Probably a million times by now.
I mean,
Yeah,
and I grew up in Virginia. I was on the other side of the state, but so I've always thought it was cool that they played so many great shows in Hampton. Even though I'm from Roanoke, so I had some friends when I was in high school and college that were at the Hampton show in '89 when they broke out Dark Star. So
that's cool.
that would have been,
But I don't even see any ratings for the other shows there.
yeah.
So
Nah, it's I'm sure it's a show that probably gets overlooked because of the quality.
yeah,
So
unfortunately. But man,
yeah,
Jerry is smoking right there. It blows me away. All right, man. So that was my Althea. Thanks for listening and entertaining me.
no,
But yeah, so I don't know if I influenced you off of those 90 those too fast 90 versions or not, but maybe I did.
I still like them,
Hmm.
but I definitely could see the '87 that Althea is pretty epic.
Yeah.
So
All right, man. So that is Althea, and we are gonna end it here.
already,
Thanks for watching.
bye.
Maybe all of this again. Sorry about the recording levels on the last one. Hopefully these are better.
Yeah, but
All
at
right.
least still go out and listen to that 9/16/72 Dark Star Broke Down Palace because it is great.
We're here to talk about 32387,
I know, but
Althea.
they may not have been able to hear me in the last one.
And the 5181 deal came up. So that's worth going to, too. All
Yeah.
right. See you guys.
Bye.